suspended. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on, Ian, and with an intro like that, what more can I say? Excluding people, deluded. I'm back again. First things first, I hope you're doing well and safe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Happy New Year again for you lot, people, because it still is the first week of Jan. Hope you lot have started off this week and year in the best potential way you can. Obviously, in terms of your health, your personal dreams, your goals, your hopes, your inspirations, I wish you the best. Appreciative of all of you lot tuned in. Please make sure we're hitting the like button, we're subscribing, we're turning on our notifications, we're checking out the YouTube playlist and all of those things. Like at the time of making this vid is 11:09 a.m. So with that being said, I defo have a couple of videos that have been uploaded that you lot ain't seen. I think I did Deluded Thoughts. I finally uploaded the clips from when I was on Arsenal's live breakdown show. At some point, you know, there'll be extended Arsenal Newcastle comments beyond what we already know. And unfortunately, I know as an Arsenal fan, I should have mentioned them, but Crystal Palace versus Tottenham Hotspur, we'll be doing a watch along for such. I'll be live for that 10 minutes before kickoff, people. I think kickoff is 8 p.m. So I'll be live at 7:50. I know Arsenal, you know, we've won a lot of games and we weren't able to win our first game of 2023. But what would be great is if Spurs lost their second game of 2023 and just lost. So we'll be Crystal Palace fans, as we all are when Patrick Vieira's men are playing apart from us. So yeah, people, with it being transfer news or transfer season, better yet, let's see what's going on. As you can see by the title, allegedly Ansu Fati is available for transfer. We'll get onto that. And apparently a second bid is to be / has been rejected for Mudryk, people, as the rumbling saga goes on. Breaking news, Arsenal 62 million second bid for Mudryk set to be rejected, with Chelsea now offering competition, and Shakhtar the next see 100 million Jack Grealish and 85 million Anthony as the barometer for a fee. I mean, to be fair to Grealish and Anthony, they're playing in stronger leagues than the Ukrainian league. I don't begrudge Shakhtar for leveraging, you know, their asset that they have. They have to get the best fee, they have to get the most money, you know, obviously with a loss of finances, you know, that has affected football in Ukraine, obviously with what's going on with the war. I can't begrudge them on that, people. Go and check out the video I did with Andrew of Zora London. You know, he is an English / Ukrainian national, and obviously he's an expert on Ukrainian football. We did a video yesterday where we spoke about the likeliness of Mudryk's deal, his strengths, his weaknesses, and just all the little moving parts. Now, again, as I was saying, you know, that's on my YouTube playlist as well. I can't begrudge Shakhtar for wanting to sell to an English team with the riches they have for the top prize, you know, leveraging potentially Chelsea's interest to again get the top fee. This is someone that for months now, everybody's linked with everyone, everybody's scouting everyone, putting bids down, and things which we haven't seen Chelsea have done are two separate things. But I don't blame them for leveraging these things, and the fact of, while we've still got a long way to go this month, but you know, the time is ticking, you know, it's stick or twist. The longer it goes on, Shakhtar might have to bite the bullet and accept what Arsenal have put. Arsenal might have to call it quits with Mudryk and keep moving, no matter how much encouragement there is. Because as you saw against Newcastle, you know, squad depth, and I always tell fans, you know, squad depth is vital. And this is the part of the season where you need it. Games are coming thick and fast. There's potential suspensions. There's potential injuries. As you can see, we're not that we're burning out Saka and Martinelli in particular, but Martinelli had a bit of a, you know, underwhelming game against Newcastle. You can't expect him to do it all the time, people. And, you know, as much as we're getting better options at Arsenal, collective depth isn't really where it needs to be. And Mikel Arteta, obviously, he had young Nathan Butler-Adeji on the bench. Happy birthday to him. What a great birthday present that was, being on the bench for the first time. The Raw, Marquinhos and Fabio Vieira, who's still getting to grips with football. I'm sure he could have brought them all on, but I just think Mikel Arteta not necessarily trust them. Not that he doesn't trust them, but they're probably going to offset the balance of the game for Arsenal, especially against Newcastle, where in pursuit of 3 points, if you make certain changes, you know, you might not only get 1 point, but you might lose none in the pursuit of 3. So sometimes you just have to bite the bullet. We need depth, you know. It's a big testing period for our players, you know. Again, if Jesus, Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe are fit, that makes our bench kind of stronger. But injuries are part and parcel of this football thing, really and truly, people. So it's a bit of a dangerous game, if we're honest with ourselves. So we need better options. We need better depth. We need collective, you know, these sort of things. when everyone's fit, a byproduct is we have a stronger bench. But I think we're actually better in seeing out games. You know, on the bench, a regular theme has been the Kieran Tierney's, the El Nenes, the Rob Holdings, the Tommy Yasu's come off the bench as well in the last 2 games. We're better at seeing out games, assuming we have the lead versus actually, you know, if we need someone to offer something different off the bench. I mean, ironically, I although I think Eddie Nketiah had a very good game against Newcastle. You know, he's got 3 starts now and he scored twice in them. Good games against Brighton and obviously Brighton and West Ham. I think one of his best games was his 29 minutes, half an hour, where he could have scored against Fulham, but he's a big reason as to why we nicked 3 points. As you know, there's different heroes and protagonists every week. So we'll have to see. Allegedly, talks continue as Arsenal continue to pursue a move for the Shakhtar Donetsk star Mudryk. The Ukrainian club are set to reject a second improved bid from the Gunners. Arsenal initially bidded 52 million for Mudryk. Wish it was Mudryk as well, and have since returned with a £62 million offer. Chelsea are now also understood to be rivaling Arsenal in a move for Mudryk. Shakhtar Donetsk are expected to reject Arsenal's improved bid for Mudryk as Chelsea threatened to scupper the Gunners' move for the Ukraine winger. Negotiations are ongoing between Shakhtar and Arsenal and their Premier League rivals over a January transfer. Mudryk is Arsenal's and Mikel Arteta's primary target this month, and Arsenal have made 2 bids for the Ukrainian winger, whose birthday is tomorrow, people, and he turns 22 tomorrow, so he's of the right age profile. The first, believed to be worth around 52 million, was turned down by Shakhtar, who publicly value Mudryk at around 88 million. Arsenal returned with an improved offer, understood to be worth 62 million, and there was optimism that a deal would be agreed in this transfer window, but they could now face competition from Chelsea, who are now understood to be exploring a possible move for Mudryk. Sources in Ukraine have told Sportsmail that with CEO Sergei Palkin now talking to both clubs, Shakhtar are likely to turn down Arsenal's improved offer as it remains far away from their €100 million target. Apparently, Cerner, Shakhtar's director of football, is said to be in England for talks over the coming days. The Croatian visits London fairly regularly. Apparently, his family live in the city as well. Chelsea are not believed to have tabled their own bid for Mudryk as things stand, but their interest could force his price up. That is despite the winger making clear his desire to join Arsenal, people. So we'll have to see what that's being said. Apparently, Arsenal are also keen to make sure they have an alternative if Cedric leaves, says Fabrizio Romano. That's obviously, we do look strong with Tomiyasu and Ben White, but when you look at it, Ben White hasn't completed 90 minutes in the last 2 games. He looks tired, you know. Some of our players, I think Tomiyasu looked good against Newcastle, but some of our players, Tomiyasu, Saliba, maybe there's a World Cup rustiness to it. Obviously, Benjamin White didn't play at the World Cup, but he's playing every week. You can see it's kind of not killing him, but he's getting tired, really and truly. And obviously, there's injuries and there's games every 3 days, people. So squad depth has never been more vital. So I do think we're strong at right back. But again, with Tomiyasu's injury record, with obviously the more you play Benjamin White, you might need an option there, really and truly. So I would sanction Cedric leaving, especially the fact of he's contracted until 2024 and, you know, has even had less than a bit part player role at this football club. And he's probably on handsome wages in comparison to how we actually utilize him, which could make it tricky to actually move him on, because we have heard that in previous live streams. Please make sure you're commenting either in the live chat or commenting at the end of this stream, people, hitting the like button and subscribing. Keeping up the theme with Mudryk, Shakhtar Donetsk's Dario Sano will be in London this week and he's expected to be at the stadium for the Chelsea City game. Chelsea and Shakhtar will discuss about Mudryk in the next 24 hours. Also, Arsenal remain in direct talks and the player's current priority. Things can change, people. And at some point, Arsenal have to be prepared to walk away and explore alternative options. Whether we'll actually do that is another thing. A journalist out of Ukraine has said Shakhtar wants to listen to all offers for Mudryk, so don't expect this to be an easy or quick deal. The club's priority is to sell the Ukrainian as expensive as possible. Fair enough. Although Mudryk himself clearly prefers Arsenal, the minnow will not rush, so everyone needs to be patient. So again, it's going to be a lengthy process. So in relation to having him for Oxford, Spurs, or maybe United, we'll have to see. We hope for the best. We prepare for the worst, and preparing for the worst would be just using what we have. And I think the quicker we can confirm Mudryk, you know, the quicker you could let someone like Marquinhos go and get some first team football out on loan, and maybe some other wingers, young wingers. So we've kind of already seen that. So let's just keep closing these things. Apparently, Chelsea are interested in Mudryk, as revealed on Monday. He's considered the perfect winger for their project, but nothing has changed as of now. Chelsea will only proceed if negotiations with Arsenal collapses. Arsenal remain the priority for the player. It's up to the club, says Fabrizio Romano. That was a follow-up tweet from 2 days ago where he said Arsenal have improved their proposal to sign Mudryk, confirmed as talks are on after a 40 million euros plus 20 million euros bid was rejected. Chelsea also interested in Mudryk in case Arsenal deal collapses. Arsenal remains priority, people. So we'll have to see how that one develops. Now, we haven't been linked with Ansu Fati and things like that, but it's just more me. Like, surely it could be something to leverage. Now, I don't think we get him, but allegedly Barcelona need to sell players. Osman Dembele's been linked with a move away. Ansu Fati, for all his potential, has had a terrible time with injuries and hasn't really got football like that. I'm sure he doesn't want to leave Barcelona. They'll be crazy to sell him. And I don't think we'll bid 70 million euros, but he fits the profile. He's from the same country as Arteta, can play up front as well as out wide. Surely it's something to consider, but for what it's worth, Barca have put Ansu Fati on the transfer list. The club must lower their salary budget and will accept an offer of around 70 million euros. Ansu Fati does not want to leave, but demands to play more. So, you know, if the club want to say that's different, and the Ansu Fatis, the De Jongs, they'll be linked with moves away. People like Rafinha, who haven't hit the heights, you know, probably be given another season. But these sort of players will be linked with moves away, people, because Barcelona allegedly can't, you know, what's the word? What do they call it? Activate more economic levers and things like that. Mikel Arteta on transfers has said, it's a question for Edu and the board to respond. We are trying to improve the squad in every window. And on the face of it, we are a collaborative club. Arteta has just as much say in the transfers as Edu. In fact, if not more, because he's the manager now. Obviously, Arteta, you know, can sanction who he wants from a technical front and a tactical front, but when it comes to dotting I's and crossing T's and negotiating, that's not his remit. His remit is to train the boys on all week at London Coley and win matches. So that is right. But I do kind of like how he kind of sticks it on Edu and that, not sticks it on them, but kind of puts it at their feet every window when he answers. He said, this is no different. We'll do our best because we cannot waste any window with the squad numbers that we have. So we'll have to try. Very bullish from Mikel Arteta. You know, getting back players, you know, is just as good. And again, you look at Smith Rowe last season, he was one of the first names on the team sheet. When he wasn't one of the first names on the team sheet, he was a bit of a super sub. So for me, at least for this season, if you could bring in Mudryk, the quicker Smith Rowe gets fit, Reece Nelson as well, Gabriel Jesus, and whether that means Eddie or Jesus is on the bench, we've got a stronger bunch of options, really, not just defensive. Like, because of our new mentality shift, I like the way we can we're an improved defensive side, a long way to go, but I think we can see out games because of a mentality shift. And I just think the options, as I said, you can go 3 at the back with Rob Holding. You can bring on Tomiyasu and Kieran Tierney if both of them don't start in place of Zinchenko or Benjamin White. You've got El Nene to come and shore things up, you know. We don't really have anyone to change the game really and truly off the bench, man. And a part of me, not that I sanction keeping Pepe, but even it's got me thinking about Pepe and Tavares. Even their craziness at times could be helped. You have got Fabio Vieira that could be utilized as well, people. But against Newcastle, yeah, you could have went with it, but I think it would have offset the balance of the team if you took off Odegaard or Saka. At a push, I could have understood putting Zinchenko in midfield for Granit, because Granit had a decent game, but he was getting into 1-2 challenges on the yellow, and then obviously bringing on Tierney. We need other options. But for what it's worth, Smith Rowe is set to make eagerly awaited Arsenal return at Oxford after 6 months out with a groin injury. Hopefully he can make up for lost time, the 22-year-old England international, people. Injuries are part and parcel, and football can be cruel. You know, you came into the first team, played week in, week out, won the number 10, and obviously you've had to deal with injuries, but in life, good and bad things happen. You have to get on with it. So if he can play against Oxford, that would be great. Get some minutes in the legs, especially as we go on to Spurs and United and so on and so forth. This is a big month. You know, we might as well say January/February and just cluster them into 2 months, really and truly. We all know Arsenal have taken their time with him returning back to full fitness. We all know he suffered a couple of minor setbacks. We all know he's been training briefly with the team. And from August, he's really had a tough time. And, you know, unfortunately, injuries happen and it's down to players to take advantage. But Martinelli's just made that left wing his own, really. So bring him, man. We need depth. We need depth. We need depth. So hopefully this report is true and he is able to play, people. Apparently, for what it's worth, 2 days ago, Manchester City are ahead of Juventus in the race for Barcelona's Ansu Fati, people. So again, there'll be a lot of interest provided that both teams want to go for him, people. He struggled for regular football under Xavi so far this season and only has started 6 of his 21 appearances in all comps, people. And he's still got quality, people. He's featured 79 times in total for Barcelona and scored 22 goals and provided 9 assists, people. So if he really is available, let's go. But I think they'd be silly. I think you keep Gavi, Pedri and Ansu Fati. You know, I think all of these players could keep it moving before Memphis Depay will keep it moving sooner rather than later. Dembele, they've probably got to give him a new deal. Rafinha probably got to the end of the season to show something, or he's at the club's mercy whether they say, you know what, you're a 1 season wonder, let's get rid, or give him another one. Ferran Torres is always very volatile in a Barcelona shirt and is always linked with clubs away. So yeah, people, it is what it is in that regards, people. They said up front we have men like Ansu Fati in whom we have a lot of hope. Then he said there's the rest of them. So I don't think they go for Ansu Fati, but why not, people? Apparently Ansu Fati to leave Barcelona, that was on Christmas Eve, better yet. So we'll have to see, people, really and truly. They've agreed to sell him for 60 million euros at the end of the season to an unnamed club. 60 million euros, that's about 50 odd million quid. So why not? Fabrizio Romano said Mudryk's first choice is Arsenal, and Chelsea will only make their move if talks with Arsenal collapse, or better yet, the Gunners there. Arsenal are ideally keen to add several players in the transfer window, says David Ornstein. Several could be subjective. For me, I hope that would mean a winger, a striker, a centre mid, and a centre back, or at least 3 of the 4. Or at this point, at least 2, or at least let's just get the winger in. Because although I know that there's many moving parts in a transfer, and you need to be patient, and I always advocate patience with you guys. You do just want to see us make the moves, man. Like Fabio Vieira, it's like we just woke up one day and he was an Arsenal player. So we'll have to see how these things develop, people. So yeah, bit of a slow news day. If we refresh goal.com and see what's been said here, not really anything new there. We've covered what Mikel Arteta has said there. We've been linked with Arthur Melo on a swap deal from Liverpool, or better yet to Juventus. I don't think anyone believes that. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything new. 60 million euro offer for Brighton and Hove Albion midfielder Moses Caicedo. I'd love him, but I can't really believe that. Juventus want to try and bandulu us and offer us a swap deal involving Arthur Melo for Gabriel, robbing us. We've been linked with Rabiot for a long time as his contract runs down, and also Skriniar, but excluding that, there isn't that many other names really and truly. So we'll have to see how these things develop. As you can see, I'm just closing things here, people, because it just makes it look a bit prettier. So in relation to the transfer window, that's all there is really to discuss at this moment in time. Any other news, I'll be very reactive and get on the ball for you lot, people. But in the meantime, check out the rest of the content I've uploaded. Appreciative of all of you lot support, and appreciate you lot for watching this game. I said watching this game. I'm still in watch along mode, looking at the transfer news with myself, people. So yeah, as I said, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you're subscribing, hit the like button, comment your opinions, turn on your notifications, make sure you're following on Twitter, Deluded Gooner04, also Instagram. Most importantly, stay fit, stay healthy, stay safe. Hope you all have a great week and year, people, and I'll see you lot again. One love.
I think it's like